Hello and happy weekend. This is vlog number 23, I believe. I think I might have labeled the last one as 23, but um, it is the beginning of a new semester, and I am officially teaching 100%. Miss Bolton is just kind of observing off in the distance, and it's been awesome so far. It's been a really cool experience to be able to get in right at the beginning of the semester. Um, and it's been really interesting seeing the transfer in and out of students that either decide to drop or kids that were on a wait list that are kind of coming in. So it's been an interesting situation. I chose to run my absolute first day of class by running an icebreaker at the beginning. Um, and just doing a bit of a name game. I kind of introduced the class a little bit first and just kind of stated who I am, where I'm from, and that I'll be their teacher until March break. And kind of let them know right out the gates that respect is my number one priority in the classroom, and that students are to not only respect their teacher, but themselves and their peers, as well as the classroom and the tools within it. So kind of came out right out the gates with that one. So we did a name game exercise, which works really well. Tossing a dice around, essentially you start and you repeat the person prior to you. You state your name and either your favorite color or your favorite food, and there's not allowed to be any repeats. And so essentially go around in a circle, and the last person has to name everybody, so it works quite well. There's a bit of repetition there. Excuse me. And then I chose to spend the rest of the period taking the kids for a school tour, just to help familiarize them with their location, the washroom they should be using, um, just so they have a better understanding of where the tech hallway is. As sometimes we need to borrow Chromebooks from Mr. Renier, and his room is kind of tucked through almost like a little secret unknown hallway. So took them for a school tour, exposed them to the fact that we have a CYW, and we also have a graduation coach for people of color, which is really cool. So expose them to guidance and let them know about OYAP as we're walking past the guidance classroom, and that we have a campus minister and a CYW, and we have learning services and a lot of privileges at our school. And not only that, I really wanted to be certain to walk everyone past our life skills room, as sometimes on client days, if students cannot find someone in the school to participate as their client, that they can easily grab someone from life skills, as those kids are always really happy to receive any free services. So really wanted to make sure, hey guys, this is where life skills is, and we kind of popped in and waved and said hello, and they always enjoy collaborating with us, so that was great. And that's kind of how the first day went for everybody. The second day, I went into a more in depth presentation about myself, who I am, where I come from, the number of different employment opportunities I've had within the industry since graduating high school, kind of my very indirect path to becoming a teacher, and just kind of really expose them to who I am and where I come from, and that my path has been a little bit indirect, but it's been a really great one with lots of different opportunities. And I think they really appreciated that. They got to see a little bit of my personality come through, and somebody even came up to me after class and was like, "Miss, you're kind of funny, eh?" I was like, "Yeah, sometimes I can be." So it was really good making a connection point with them. And then what I did is I had them do an assignment once I wrapped up my presentation. I said, "Okay, well, that's enough about me. Now it's time to learn about you." And we have an about me assignment that I have the kids doing. So it's essentially like a Instagram profile page, and it just kind of has hashtags like my favorite food, my favorite candy bar, my favorite holiday, and those my favorite animal. So those kinds of things. If I had a superpower, what would it be? Just to learn a little bit more about them. So I had them work on that the rest of the period, and they seem to really enjoy it. And I do plan on having them use that next week. I know Miss Bolton had mentioned before she was kind of hoping to do some kind of like a wellness Wednesday, and I really like the idea. She said there's definitely more teachable days in the second semester because of all the commotion that kind of happens around the Christmas holidays. That there's just seems to be more teaching days in the second semester. So I kind of took that, and what I intend to do, and Miss Bolton loves and she will carry on with, is we're going to alternate Wednesdays with Wellness Wednesday, whether we, do some yoga or mindfulness or meditation or, discuss nutrition. But not only are we going to touch on wellness, but we'd like to alternate it, or I would like to alternate it. Miss Bolton likes my idea. We're going to do What's Up Wednesday. I really find that the youth in today's classroom is a little bit more introverted, and they're not quite as comfortable in having engaging one-on-one conversations. So my intention is to every other week kind of have them rally with one of their peers, or sometimes maybe even in a group of 3, and I'll give them some prompts as to what kind of conversation they can kind of dig into. But I'd like them to have some meaningful conversations. Things like, what was the coolest thing that happened to you this week? Was there anything new that you learned this week? Is there anything you're proud of this week? Those kinds of things. And really just kind of being able to share some of their emotions. Is there anything that you found really challenging? Is there anything, that's kind of weighing heavy that you'd like to talk about, and there's no pressure to talk about any of these things, but I really encourage a level of openness and comfort in just kind of sharing our thoughts and feelings and validating one another. So that's kind of planned down the road. I plan to use these About Me grids, and so I am going to kind of see who has similarities, like whose favorite holiday is Christmas. Okay, well, you and you and you all love Christmas, so I want you guys to get together, and I want you to figure out 3 other similarities that you have with each other, and just to kind of get them conversing amongst each other. Really work on team building, because working in a salon atmosphere, you're as strong as your team. So so that's kind of what I did for day 2. Day 3, we went into class expectations. So Miss Bolton had a previously done slideshow that I thought was really great. I did some edits that she certainly approved of, and just kind of revised it slightly and made some additions and whatnot. So went over class expectations, and with that, really elaborated. It's, I had the kids all kind of take a turn reading the slides, which was a good exercise for me because I got to use their names by calling on them to read the slides. I feel like I know out of 60 students after 4 days, I'm pretty sure I could easily name like 54 of them. There's a couple that actually I could easily name like 56 of them. There's only a couple. But then the other challenges is the students coming in and out. So I feel like just about every day we've had at least one person drop and one person pop back in. So that's been kind of fun to stay on top of. And and the very first day I handed out permission forms, and I wrote every single person's name on the top of the permission form. So that way I knew if there was somebody that was absent or anything like that where I needed to make sure I got that to them at a later time. So I did incentivize them, and I stated that we would have a treat. I didn't tell them what, because I'll stick it to you. But I told them we would have a treat if everyone brought in their permission form in one day. They'd have potentially a treat, but less of if in 2 days we could have all the permission forms in. And all 3 classes did not disappoint. We'll get to the treat in a moment. So we had done the classroom expectations, and then I gave them the rest of the period to finish up their About Me. But our period 3, we had a grade assembly that was kind of impromptu, and um, so we got called down, and I didn't get to go over classroom expectations with my third period, which is grade nines, my fourth period. We have first period spare, so didn't get to go over that with the grade nines. And from my experience with the grade nines last semester, they can be a little bit slower at times to get their work done or things handed in. Last semester's grade 9 class only got 2 client days, which other grades got easily 6 to 10. So I kind of set the tone for them and let them know, if you're constantly coming to class unprepared and if you're not going to take the initiative to use class time wisely and get things done, you probably won't have many client days. So kind of lit that initiative under their heinies. So yeah, that was well recepted. But yeah, we had this great assembly that was rallied together relatively last minute. So we were now delayed a day with the grade nines. And the treat that I had in store was there's a really good documentary that Chris Rock had done called Good Hair. And ironically enough, Miss Bolton loves the movie as well, and she actually took it upon herself to upload to Edpuzzle and edit out any profanity, as she has shown it in the past. And coincidentally, we're in Black History Month, so I thought, why not, kind of take it easy. I know some of these kids' heads are spinning, and there's a lot of switching in and out. So as a treat to kind of reward them for all bringing in their permission forms, we're just kind of taking it easy and watching the documentary Good Hair. However, my grade nines, there is also going to be a pep assembly tomorrow. I will not be there tomorrow, but my grade nines are going to be rallying for an assembly again tomorrow. So I decided, you know what, today we're going to go over classroom expectations. They were already done. Their About Me assignment, it was expected to be done by the end of last period. So I decided, while the first 2 periods were watching Good Hair, I put together a Kahoot game based on the classroom expectations slideshow, and they loved it. We honestly had such a good time. Today was a really great day. Even first period is our prep period, and Miss Bolton has been trying to get a ceiling mounted projector in her room for a really long time, and she had a little bit of help from one of the guys in the tech department earlier in the morning, and he had to get going to class, and her and I just kind of had a can-do attitude, and we borrowed a ladder from the construction room, and the 2 of us fished a cable over the ceiling tiles and got our the proper HDMI cord plugged in, and we were able to use the projector today, which is fantastic. Really, really good. And came in great time too, because we had some movies planned. But you start the day off on a high note like that, and then you end it with these grade nines being super fired up and excited. And I did actually bring in some Halloween candy for them, because I said I had a treat, and they did. They were the best class. They had them all in day one. One person that missed class actually saw it on Google Classrooms, printed it, and showed up with it the second day, which was really surprising and fantastic. So, all right, guys, I brought in, like I said, some leftover Halloween candy. My kid's 6. I don't let him eat it all. And I still had some, and so I tossed them each a little candy bar and gave them a couple choices. You want this or that? And they were pretty geeked that they got that treat. And before we did the slideshow and had them each read, and we had a couple instances where when someone's reading, they're kind of a little bit choked up on a word, and I took a moment to, excuse me, sorry, I'm definitely coming off of something, so haven't been feeling too hot, but we're muscling through. So when it comes to reading, there are often some reading challenges, and I kind of addressed it right away. And I said, you know what? Some of us are stronger at reading than others, and that's okay. If you need help, you can ask somebody next to you, or you can look at me and I will, walk you through, or, I'll give the word to you. If you're really uncomfortable, you're free to say, I'd rather not, and pass. And it's happened a couple times. And, I really stress that this is a judgment free classroom, and I don't want to see anyone snickering when someone's having a hard time, because not all of us are as affluent as the others. And I even said, Miss Bolton actually has dyslexia, and she gets me to proofread her stuff for her often. So, I think the kids kind of go like, wow, okay. But really, with these 3 periods, we're really lucky we have quite good kids, and just really, really, really stressing respect and no judgment. And all I expect to see you do is try. Somebody said, when are we going to be hands on? And I said, if you start working at McDonald's, they're not just going to throw you behind the counter. They're going to show you where everything is. They're going to show you how everything works. And that's kind of where we're at right now. And then somebody asked, well, are you expecting it to be like really great? I said, no. I expect to see you have a positive attitude and just give it a shot. And I expect you to just try your best. And, it's to see their faces when you have that level of like, we're here to have fun. We're here to learn something new. I can maybe learn some things from you guys, because I'm not on TikTok. And we have a really cool culture established already, and I really look forward to it blossoming in the next 4 weeks. So, on that note, we'll leave it until next week.